This arrived after randomly being missing for 2 days. It's crinkled. It's okay. Got a deleter screen. I don't think this makes it totally useless because you cut out, parts of it to use it. But that's very annoying. If I like it, the next time I order, I'm either gonna order from I think JetPens sells this, Deleter's website. You can order directly from them. So I think that's what I'll do next time, just because a lot of the reviews on Amazon said that it arrived crinkled, but it was like a cheap way to try it out. So I gambled and lost. So what I'm gonna do is sketch out my Sugar Serpent character, Meg, because she's the one who may or may not require a screen tone. I don't know. And then I'll ink it and we'll try out screen tones. Maybe I'll put it under a heavy book while I'm sketching, see if we can fix it a little bit. Okay, so I finished the inking. I like these drawings. I kind of had her design settled. I just wanted to figure out a pattern for her clothes, and that was pretty much it. Next thing is the screen tones, and here's the deal with the screen tones. She is a darker skinned character. Do I have any pictures of her? Okay, this is not my best ever painting, but up here, this is her on the left. So she's a darker skinned character. And I have been just so stumped over how I wanted to do her skin tone in the actual comic pages. Because, I mean, technically I could just leave her like this and maybe put her on the cover of some books and then people will just know. So that's an option. I debated for like 2 seconds about doing cross-hatching and was like, nope, I don't see that working out. No thanks. And then I feel like the most obvious solution was toning it digitally. I've experimented with some forms of toning with like ink washes and stuff. So just basically using like gray inks or watery inks for skin tone. So that's an option. Toning digitally is an option. But I just was like, let's just try out traditional screen tones for her skin primarily. If it works and I get pretty good at it, maybe we'll use it for other things. But for right now, it's mainly I'm just like, how do I differentiate her skin tone from everybody else? Well, not everybody else. Other characters might have dark skin tones too. But in terms of the main cast, well, not even the main cast. She's the main character. So I feel like if I can figure her out, everything else is slightly less important. I just want to know how to do screen tones. I have watched a few videos. I feel like I know what I'm doing. I don't actually know what I'm doing, but I've got the screen tone here. I did put it under a book and it flattened a little bit, but we still got some creases, but that's okay. And I have an X-Acto knife that I rarely use, and the blade looks like it's in like new condition. And then scissors for making the more general cutouts. Well, I also just randomly guessed on like what percentage and what line that I should get, because I don't actually know how those work. So 52L, 20%. I don't quite know what that means yet. Screen tones are somewhat expensive as a tool, so I'm gonna try and be economical with this and try not to waste very much. I'm just doing it the way I saw people do it on YouTube. So I outlined like a basic shape, but I'm gonna trim it down with the X-Acto. Yeah. It covers her whole head, neck, and ear. I just applied my first screen tone. From what I've seen online, this should cut very easily, use very little pressure, and then you don't cut through the paper. We'll see about that. some over here because it's like creating like a sheen on her hair, and I'm not especially in love with that. But mix that with the eraser. Yeah, we can. Let's try this. That's so satisfying. Oh my gosh. Oh, OMG. I just applied my first screen tone. Okay, so then we can do her skin tones. Let's go ahead and switch to the camera. Hey everyone, it's Miss Mark jumping in here for a voiceover. Welcome back to another video in my manga series. I initially thought I wouldn't be making like tons of these right away, but then I decided to get the screen tones and, well, one screen tone, and I had to share it with everybody. So here we are, sharing it. I have wanted to try out screen tones probably for years. I mean, if you've read manga and you've researched screen tones, you've probably wanted to try them out. So I'm sure I'm not alone in this. I haven't tried the screen tones on like an actual comic page yet, but what I'm envisioning for the art style is for Sugar Serpent, I want the art style to rely heavily on the inking and like my line art. And I just want to use the odd screen tone for things that I just can't do with solid black ink. And one thing is dark skin tones, and the other thing is maybe clothing. There's a few comics that I've looked at that are actually very minimal in terms of screen tones. And if I'm remembering correctly, I think one of them is Demon Slayer. I think another one is Inuyasha. I think it was Inuyasha. It's been a while since I like took notes on all these. Anyway, they were just comics that I noticed like rarely used, or not rarely, but they just kind of use screen tones sparingly instead of like shading everything. And that's what I kind of want to do with Sugar Serpent. So I don't want to shade with screen tones. I don't necessarily want to do like background textures with screen tones. I want to sort of let the inking carry the comic, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. So I wasn't too worried about trying out screen tones because I don't think I'm getting totally in over my head. If I wanted to shade Sugar Serpent with screen tones the way that I have shaded Desert and Eleanor, that would be torture. That's too much. But I'm not going for that, so it's okay. It's okay. Anyway, this was a lot of fun. I got a lot more out of one sheet than I kind of thought. Like I didn't even really use like a fourth of it. So hopefully I can stretch how far these screen tone sheets go, because they are just a bit pricey. If you compare this to like how much coloring you can get out of like a gray marker or something, these screen tones are not the most financially efficient way to do this. But obviously I love the way it looks. It makes me feel so amazing to actually be using this tool. This is maybe I just need to use a screen tones because of the vibe. Maybe that's it. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed seeing me work with these. It did make me super curious about getting like screen tone gradients and like different screen tones and layering them to do shadows. But while I would like to try that out sometime, in terms of Sugar Serpent, specifically this project, I kind of like the more minimal look, and this experiment I think was a total success. I felt very confident. I didn't have any disasters, and it didn't feel like it totally overwhelmed me or took up all my energy. It felt like it was very easily incorporated into my workflow, and that's the important part. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna give this a few more tries and experiment with it some more. Well, there we are. That's so satisfying. Dirt on there. So satisfying to see it toned physically. It's like my brain kind of can't even like process it fully. You know? It's like, that must be printed, surely. Okay, I am still on the fence as to whether or not I would tone an entire comic this way. Like I said, it's mainly for skin tones, but maybe the occasional costume clothing item? I don't know. I was very economical, maybe a little too economical because this is how much I have left. I only took like the tiniest little bites. Okay, I am pleased with the results. Slightly messy. I could probably use some better cutting tools, which I kind of knew, but I didn't want to buy any nice knives or scissors till I was convinced that I would like to try this further. And I do. I do want to try this further. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope it was informative. I know it's not always the most informative thing to watch somebody new try out a supply, but I kind of get a little bit of insight watching how like a beginner picks up something. So screen tones are painstaking. They require a lot of patience, but not necessarily a ton of skill, if that makes sense, to do something like this. To do like a full-fledged comic that's a little bit more complex definitely requires talent and practice and everything. But if you have the patience to just cut out a specific shape, you can do screen tones. I don't want to make it sound overly simple, but this was not as horrible as I kind of thought it might be, and I'm so pleased with the result. Meg can have her darker skin. Comment down below with your vote. Digital screen tones or traditional? I'm gonna pick the one that works for me, but I'd be interested to know what you think. Shout out to my patrons who have been supporting this story over on Patreon, and they kind of know a bit more about the plot and the characters. And yeah, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye!